हेलो।
हाँ जी संकल्प भी आ रहे हैं बाकी जन। हाँ
कितने लोग आ गए हैं अभी? 6 लोग हैं ना।
6 लोग और आ गए हैं। ज्वाइन करिए ना जल्दी।
स्टार्ट किया जाए।
स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं फिर। आते रहिए। मैं आपको होस्ट बना देता हूँ, अगर कोई आएगा तो आप ऐड करते जाइएगा, ठीक है।
ओके ओके ओके।
आप तो आज
चलेगा।
ऐसे भी नहीं लेके आए तो शेयरिंग स्क्रीन करने का दरकार ही नहीं है। चलिए कोई बात नहीं है। आप इंग्लिश में रखिएगा क्योंकि निहाल एक वो इंग्लिश साउथ इंडियन है तो इंग्लिश में इंग्लिश में आप
ठीक, मैं
रखिएगा।
मिक्स रखूंगा।
हाँ हाँ मिक्स।
किसी को दिक्कत नहीं। ठीक है। सो हेलो फ्रेंड्स,
वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए
मेरा
सब
नाम,
ना।
जितने लोग वीडियो ऑन कर लेंगे अच्छा रहेगा,
हम्म।
बिकॉज कि अच्छा इंटरेक्शन हो पाएगा।
इंटरेक्शन अच्छा हो पाएगा।
टू वे कम्युनिकेशन होगा तो ज्यादा अच्छा है। Like, yeah, my name is Sankalp Agrawal. I'm a post-qualified chartered accountant having experience of more than 2.5 years in internal audit only. So this session I have kept for all of you guys, like to give you a brief idea of internal audit. Like most of you guys know about the internal audit, stat audit. Like most of you know about the stat audit, but many of you guys don't know what is the internal audit, how it starts, how it goes, what are the criterias for it. Since nowadays, more than the stat audit, now internal audit is also growing. Since companies also want to make the cost benefit analysis, the the checking of the process. So what makes the difference between the stat audit and the internal audit is like stat audit gives you the view from like a larger perspective, but when you get inside the books and see the things from a micro perspective, like when you check the process, what are the processes, what are the controls inside it, and what are the risks inside it, then it is internal audit. Since like stat audit, you guys mostly complete the stat audit in 15 days or 20 days or a month, but the internal audit goes on forever and forever, like it goes on for a complete year. So it is a concurrent kind of audit. Concurrent audit is also called concurrent audit also. So what I will tell you, like what is the scope? Like in internal audit, you have to be be ready for the traveling, because it is mostly done on the client location. You have to stay at the client location for 2 months, 3 months for a project. Then from one project you will be going to another project. So it will be always on a client location. So you must be able to travel. You must be willing to, more than able, you will be must be willing to travel. तो आप लोगों को मजा आएगा. इंटरनल ऑडिट एक ऐसी फील्ड है जहां आपको इज्जत भी मिलती है. यू विल बी ऑडिटर एंड आपको अच्छा लगेगा वो करके इंटरनल ऑडिट. एंड अब मैं इंटरनल ऑडिट के कुछ टेक्निकल टर्म्स में आता हूँ कि इंटरनल ऑडिट करते कैसे हैं. इंटरनल ऑडिट में क्या होता है कि कुछ साइकिल्स होते हैं जिसको हम लोग चेक करते हैं, जिसमें होती है P2P साइकिल, H2R cycle and O2C cycle. P2P cycle is somewhat related to purchase, like it's procurement to payment. Then आता है आपका H2R cycle, that is related to HR, hire to retire cycle. When an employee, how an employee gets hired and what are the formalities till date, like when he is going to retire. So पूरा उस cycle को check करने को H2R cycle बोलते हैं. And then comes to O2C cycle, order to cash cycle. This is related to sales cycle. आज मेरा फोकस होगा कि आप लोग को P2P साइकिल, बिकॉज कि इंटरव्यूज में जो जितना भी फोकस होता है इंटरनल ऑडिट के, मैंने इंटरनल ऑडिट के 10 से ऊपर इंटरव्यू दिए हैं और 6 से ऊपर क्रैक किए हैं. फिर तो मेरे को वो आइडिया है कि मेरे को इंटरव्यू में क्या क्वेश्चंस बिग फोर और इंडस्ट्री दोनों क्या पूछते हैं अच्छे से मेरे को पता है. तो मैं आप लोगों को गाइडेंस देने की कोशिश करूंगा. आई विल ट्राई टू गाइड यू गाइज हाउ टू एस एन इंटरनल ऑडिट इंटरव्यू. सो अभी तक किसी को कुछ कर लूं. If there is any doubt, ask me. Okay, so I am proceeding ahead. Let's go to the P2P audit. Like what is P2P audit? How it is done? Like एक P2P cycle होती है. There is a cycle called P2P. Like when in your home you purchase a TV, like you ask your dad to purchase a TV. Okay, so what you do? First thing is planning. Material planning. The thing is that you have to identify the need of the product. The first step itself is the identification of the need of the product. That product is required. I need that product. This is the thing. I'm not going to show any PPT to you guys. I want to like convey it in a most simple manner how this is done. Like those. So the first step you can note down, it is identification of the need of a product. Like in a factory, a machinery can be required. So a machinery is required is the requisition of a machinery, like a necessity of a machinery. Like they want
I would
a machinery.
request, Sankalp, I would request everyone at least have a note copy and write down those points in the group also, and also note it down, because Sankalp is our mentee and he has cleared almost all the rounds in internal audit. So the risk advisory, risk assurance is the best person, okay, to guide. So whatever he's saying, that will come in your interview here and there, okay, even in industrial training, anywhere it can come. Okay, so if articles, whatever it is, so please note down everything very well, whatever he's saying, and any query you have, please clarify now only. Okay, you can proceed, Sankalp. P2P you're explaining.
Hello. So I would like to proceed ahead. Like in P2P, it starts from identification of the need of product. Like you want to purchase, like an industry want to purchase, a cement manufacturing concern wants to purchase a machinery. That is the identification of a need of a product. In the same way, in your house, you want to purchase a TV. That is the identification of a need of product. After it, what comes? You request to your dad that I want this TV. This is known as purchase requisition. The second step is what? Purchase requisition. The PR is made. Purchase requisition, in which the user department issues, I want this product for this reason, for manufacturing, for like even if a small screw or small bolt in an industry is bought after a purchase requisition, user department has to raise a request that we need this product, and this way PR is made. A PR about the like this nut and bolt of this size, this this in this quantity we need. Okay, then PR is then approved by their head. The purchase requisition is then approved by their head. So, and after that, when the PR is approved, it is sent to the procurement team, the one who takes care of the purchase, the one who takes care of all the purchases. So it is sent to the procurement team after the approval of their head. So what the procurement team does, it asks for the quotation from different vendors. So here comes the third stage. Request for quotation from vendors. At least 3 quotations should be there. At least 3 quotations should be there. Like they are asking to the vendor, put your quotation for this material. So for that material, the quotations, vendors will be sending their quotations for that particular material. So we focus on, as an internal auditor, for choosing a best vendor. 3 quotations will be there, in which they will tell the prices and the specifications of their product, and we try to select the best vendor who is offering the best thing at the cheapest rate. Like अगर आप भी टीवी लेने जा रहे हो तो टीवी ऐसे नहीं ले लोगे, 3-4 दुकानें पूछ के टीवी लोगे. द सेम वे इंडस्ट्री भी ऐसे ही करती है, 3-4 वेंडर से पूछती है कि आपके यहाँ ये चीज का क्या प्राइस है, और उस हिसाब से सबसे बेस्ट वेंडर को सिलेक्ट करती है. once the vendor is selected, the next steps come is purchase order. Purchase order place hota hai, PO. In this, all the contract agreements, like कि इसमें लिखा रहता है कि when the material will be delivered, in what conditions it will be delivered by the company, like the vendor, or it has to be picked by the customer. फिर at what rate it will be, of what quality it will be. तो purchase order में each and everything mentioned रहता है. It is a kind of agreement in which all the terms and conditions of the buy and sell transactions is mentioned. जैसे कि एक टीवी वाले क्या गए, हमने आज टीवी फाइनल हो गया, 3 दुकान में से हमने स्पेक्स सेलेक्ट कर लिया, तो हमने उससे पूछते हैं कि इसकी क्या वारंटी रहेगी, इसकी क्या प्राइस रहेगी, ये कब दोगे, अभी अवेलेबल है तो अभी दे दो या फिर 15 दिन बाद मंगा के दोगे. तो वैसे ही वहां पे वो पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट कर लेते हैं परचेज ऑर्डर में. फिर ये परचेज ऑर्डर हमारी जो हेड होती है, हेड ऑफ फाइनेंस, वो उसको अप्रूव करते हैं. PR is approved at least at 3 levels. उसके बाद जब PR अप्रूव हो गई, अब क्या होगा, अब गुड्स आएगा. लाइक द गुड्स, we receive the goods because we have made the order. The shop or the vendor will deliver us the goods. So जब goods आएगा, we make the GRN, good receipt note. The next steps that comes in is the GRN. This is called good receipt note. And then we make the payment. Goods, then we make the invoice. We receive the invoice. अभी आपके पास PO हो गया, फिर आपने GRN कर लिया, गुड्स आ गई, अब आप इनवॉइस लोगे कि इसका इनवॉइस दो मेरे को, तो फिर आप इनवॉइस पोस्टिंग करते हो. तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप कम्स इज इनवॉइस पोस्टिंग, एंड द लास्ट स्टेप इज पेमेंट. फिर आप उसको पेमेंट करते हो. तो मैं एक बार फिर से रिवाइज कराता हूँ P2P का. इट इज एज सिंपल एज दैट. जैसे कि आप टीवी लेने जाते हो किसी भी शॉप में, वैसा ही है. It starts from identification of the need of the product, then purchase requisition is sent, then request for quotation from different vendors, then purchase order is placed, then GRN is made when the goods are received, then what comes in is the invoice posting. We post the invoice, and lastly we make the payment. It is as simple as that. ऐसा ही होता है. किसी भी आप इंडस्ट्री में जाओगे जहां भी
क्वेश्चन
टैप
आपको
लगी हुई,
पूछेगा आपका इंटरनल ऑडिट में, व्हाट इज द P2P प्रोसेस, ऐसे करके, तो ये बोलना है.
P2P cycle is the P2P cycle is the most common question which is asked in any interview. तो ये P2P cycle में बता रहा हूँ, आप
ड्रिल
लोग
कैसे
अच्छे
कर
से
सकते
सुन.
हैं आप बोले, क्रॉस क्वेश्चन
मैं
कैसे
बता रहा
करते
हूँ, मैं हर एक स्टेप पे बताऊंगा मैं.
एकदम.
फिर नेक्स्ट पे बोलेगा उसने कि P2P में क्या ग्रिलिंग यहाँ चालू होती है. आपने साइकिल बता दिया कि ऐसे ऐसे होता है, दिस वे थिंग्स हैपेंस, बट नाउ दे विल स्टार्ट ड्रिलिंग एंड ग्रिलिंग बोथ. ड्रिल डाउन भी करते हैं वो कि व्हाट आर द रिस्क यू हैव like faced till this now in P2P audit. What are the risks and what the controls you have placed for facing those risks? Like what are the risks and what are the controls you have placed? So the risk involved, I will tell you the top 4 risks at least. So the at the very first step, the thing is that the identification of the need of the product, whether the product is actually required or not. The first risk is that whether the product is actually required, or is it sent by the user department team for ऐसे ही it is not required but they are being sent कि इसको extra मंगा के रखते हैं. So this is the risk. The first risk is whether the product is actually required or not. Okay. So for the controlling them, to control them, at least 2 levels of approval should be there. The PR should be approved by at least 2 levels. One of the like user Another one by the plant head. Like if there is a factory, the plant head should be also be approving the same. Then the how will you control? It should be approved by at least 2 levels. What is the risk? That there is no requirement of the product, but still the user department has put the request for the product. And the next risk is like the quotations. They are not receiving the quotations. They are just dependent on a single vendor. They are taking the goods from a single vendor. What is the risk over there? Like the procurement team may have colluded with the vendor. Like the procurement team has made some adjustments with the vendor for his self-interest. Okay, so for their self-interest, they have gone into some agreement. Like I will put the company's order with you only, and you give me some commission. This kind of things happen in the industry. So for that, at least 3 quotations should be there. And the judgment, like which vendor to select, it should be based on a ranking. Like since we are receiving 3 quotations, then ranking, the point allocation system should be there, and the best vendor should be selected for the same goods, so that there is no personal interest of the procurement team is involved. After that, the next risk is the payment. During the payment, what happens is that sometimes there are different levels of, like different branches of an organization, like Kolkata branch, Siliguri branch, Mumbai is the head office. Okay, when the vendor sends the invoice, it sends the invoice keeping them all in CC, all the branches. What happens, due to their miscommunication, the both of the 3 or 2 branches makes the payment without the communication. वो लोग 3 लोग पेमेंट कर देते हैं या 2 लोग पेमेंट कर देते हैं उसमें से ऑफ द सेम बिल. ये जनरली इंडस्ट्री में होता है. तो आप इसको कंट्रोल कैसे करोगे? डुप्लीकेसी और पेमेंट्स को बचाओगे कैसे? तो इसमें हम लोग बोलते हैं कि आप लोग इसको सेंट्रलाइज पेमेंट सिस्टम को रखो. किसी भी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री में जाओगे, कभी पेमेंट जो होती है सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम होती है. पेमेंट एक जगह से होती है, क्योंकि ये कंट्रोल है, सो दैट कि ऐसा नहीं हो कि एक इनवॉइस का मल्टीपल पेमेंट हो जाए. ये हो गया पूरा P2P का रिस्क. इसके अलावा और क्या रिस्क होती है कि वेंडर, कहीं डुप्लीकेट वेंडर्स नहीं खुल रहे हैं. आपने वेंडर रजिस्ट्रेशन कर रहे हो, या आपके टैली में, या आपके एसएपी में, या ओरेकल में आप वेंडर एक खोल रहे हो, न्यू वेंडर खोल रहे हो, तो वेंडर ऐसा तो नहीं ऑलरेडी वो वेंडर खुला हुआ है, उसको आप एडवांस दिए हुए हो, दोबारा एक बार वेंडर खोल रहे हो फिर एडवांस दे रहे हो. वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, डुप्लीकेशन नहीं होना चाहिए वेंडर में. तो इसके लिए क्या कंट्रोल लगाते हैं कि वेंडर डुप्लीकेसी नहीं हो. उसके लिए फॉर नॉन डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ वेंडर्स, व्हाट वी डू कि we make the vendor code like unique by the PAN number or GST number. If there will be same GST number, same PAN number of the same vendor, the vendor will not be created. It will show an error in the Tally or SAP or ERP, any ERP the organization is using. तो ये 4 मेजर रिस्क हो गए और उसके कंट्रोल हो गए. Apart from that, the next major question, when आप जब ये सब बता दोगे उनको, तुमसे वो पूछेंगे, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होगा व्हाट इज 3-way मैच. 3-way मैच क्या होता है? 3-way मैच, तो उसका आंसर ये है, रिकंसिलिएशन ऑफ द PO, GRN एंड इनवॉइस इज नोन एज 3-way मैच. इसमें हम लोग मिलाते हैं कि जो परचेज ऑर्डर में जो प्रोडक्ट्स हमने ऑर्डर किए थे जिस प्राइस पे, वही गुड्स हम लोग को रिसीव हुए हैं GRN में, गुड्स रिसीप्ट नोट में. जब हम लोग गुड्स रिसीव किए तो सेम गुड्स ही रिसीव किए हैं, और इनवॉइस में वही प्राइस उसने मेंशन किया है जो कि PO में था. सो इट इज अ रिकंसिलिएशन बिटवीन द 3, द PO, द GRN एंड द इनवॉइस. ये हो गया आपका P2P साइकिल से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस जो कि जनरली दे आस्क इन एन इंटरव्यू. लेकिन फिर वो लोग फिर आपको ग्रिल कर सकते हैं कि आप और कुछ बताओ. तो उसमें आपको ये बोलना होगा कि वी हैव अ गुड एक्सपोजर ऑफ SAP और द ERP विच यू आर यूजिंग. अगर आप टैली बोले तो टैली बोल सकते हो कि मुझे अच्छा एक्सपोजर है, एंड आई डू हैव द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ कैरिंग एन इंटरनल ऑडिट, लाइक आई एम बीन मैनेजिंग इंटरनल ऑडिट टीम फॉर 3 to 4 पीपल. ओके, फिर उनका नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऐसा होता है, हैव यू हर्ड अबाउट द RACM, रिस्क असेस कंट्रोल मैट्रिक्स, RACM. तो आपको बोलना यस आई एम इनटू द रिस्क, I've been preparing RACM, risk assess control matrix. Then he will ask what is RACM. It is nothing but a document which records what is the processes which we are going to check, how much is the risk involved, the description of the risk, the description of the process, and what are the controls which are put into the place, and what will be the impact of those risks. Nothing else. RACM is a document which documents all the processes which the organization is having and which we are going to check. After that, what are the controls which are there, what are the risks, what are the processes, what are the risks involved in that, and what are the controls. Like I will give you an example. Like there is a process, payment of salaries. Then what are the risk? Risk is like excess payment. You can make the excess payment. What is the control? To control, we can put to ensure the excess payment approvals, OTPs are there, multi-level OTPs are multiple level authorizations are there. Then they will ask how these controls are frequent, how much frequent are these controls. Like it is every time you make a payment you have to put the OTP, or like once in a month you have to put the OTP and then for the whole month you can make the transaction. No, for the control frequency you have to type, yeah, every time we make a payment, control is there. Apart from P2P, they generally drill down into like IFC. What is IFC? So IFC is nothing but it's a like internal financial control. All the P2P, O2C or H2R cycle, the P2P which I have explained just now comes into IFC only. Like it is a IFC's internal financial control. Like it controls the business processes, whether the business processes are efficient and effective to fight with an error or fraud. Like it will identify the error or fraud beforehand. Now the next thing is SOX. What is SOX? So SOX is nothing. SOX is the US version of IFC. SOX the full form of SOX is Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Those who are doing CA must have read SOX somewhere. So it was brought into US in 2002 by Security Exchange Commission. Like we have SEBI in India for the listed companies, they have Security Exchange Commission in US. The objectives was SOX was to, like in 1990s, late 1990s, there are many frauds happening in the companies, due to which the shares market fell down, and the public, there are many financial frauds were happening at that time. Due to on the like occurrence of that, the share markets fell down, and the like investors were losing their money and the interest and trust from the market. To protect the investors interest and the trust in the market, SOX, they brought the SOX. What was the SOX? SOX was nothing, it is a type of internal audit. Like the management will be responsible for the internal audit, whether the controls are effective or not in an organization. This was the responsibility. So to cope up with that, to give the management, to make the management accountable for the internal controls, SOX was brought into the picture in the US. And for India, it is known as IFC. Nothing else. SOX and IFC is all same. Just we call it in India IFC, and in the US SOX. Apart from that, like what the Indian SOX is like, the IFC requires. What is the requirement of IFC? The requirement of IFC is as simple as that. If a company has an executive chairman, then 50% independent directors should be there on the board. If a company does not have an executive chairman, then 1/3 should be the independent directors. See, as simple as that. I am repeating for you guys. Like company which has an executive chairman, then 50% of the directors should be independent directors. Or if a company doesn't have an executive chairman, then 1/3 of the directors should be the independent directors. CEO and CFO, they put the responsibility on the CEO and CFO, that they are required to check and review the internal controls. The internal controls are now the responsibility of the CEO and CFO, and they are now required to check it and correct it on a timely basis. CEO and CFO are now required to certify the financial statements also. Now you will see the listed company's financial statements, CFO signs it, he authorizes it. what made that like compulsory? It was the IFC that made it compulsory. That made it compulsory that yeah, now CFO has to authorize to sign on the financial statements. There should be a whistleblower policy in an organization. Hello. So there should be a whistleblower policy in an organization. So whistleblower policy is nothing if someone wants to convey anything. If someone is leaking our records or any employee is revealing our trade secrets. So there should be a policy. How can he secretly come like inform these to the management and without the
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
एक सेकंड, वो आ रहे हैं वापिस, नेट का इशू था।
ओके ओके ओके,
एक सेकंड रुकिएगा। सेवन टू सेवन काम कर रहे हैं ना अभी। अभी इंटरनेट इनका खत्म हो गया, 2 मिनट में आ रहे हैं। चलिए, यहाँ तक क्या लिखे थे अभी तक क्या क्या बोले, एक बार के लिए इतना देर आ रहे हो, एक बार रिवाइज कर लेते हैं। क्या स्टार्टिंग में क्या क्या बोले थे? सीवम से स्टार्ट करते हैं ना। क्या क्या चीज बोले थे इंटरनल ऑडिट में?
सर P2P, H2R, O2C।
सीवम तो अच्छा से लिख ही दिया सब। आइडेंटिटी देखिए, P2P में क्या क्या चीज होता है, वैसे तो हम भी करा ही सकते हैं, पर
आइडेंटिफिकेशन, आइडेंटिफिकेशन,
मतलब
परचेज रिक्विजिशन।
व्हाट इज P2P? प्रोक्योर टू पे,
प्रोक्योरमेंट टू पेमेंट,
प्रोक्योर टू पे। रिक्स एडवाइजरी निखिल कुमार, उसका भी ऐसे निकला था। तो इसमें क्या होता है? आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द नीड ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, परचेज रिक्विजिशन, कोटेशन, सिलेक्शन ऑफ वेंडर, परचेज ऑर्डर, अप्रूवल, GRN, इनवॉइस, पेमेंट। ये याद रहेगा, इसका छोटा फॉर्म बना लीजिएगा, IPQ SPA GIP। बन गया निमोनिक्स सबका, निमोनिक्स हो गया ना, ये निमोनिक्स इज मेड। इसका शॉर्ट फॉर्म कोई बना सकता है? पूछेगा व्हाट इज द P2P साइकिल, तो ये याद रखना है। आइडेंटिटी, ये जो आप लोग व्हाट्सएप में दिख रहा है ना, देयर इज ना आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द नीड ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, परचेज रिक्विजिशन, कोटेशन, सिलेक्शन ऑफ वेंडर, परचेज ऑर्डर, अप्रूवल, GRN, इनवॉइस, पेमेंट। इसमें कोई डाउट है किसी को तो बताइए मेरे को। ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन पूछेगा ये लोग। ओके, इज देयर एनी डाउट इन द P2P साइकिल? P2P cycle. Everybody understood the P2P cycle? कोई doubt? Any doubt? What is P2P full form? सबको समझ में आ गया? Everybody ना? Okay. So once Nihal, explain what is P2P cycle. हाँ जी निहाल, explain P2P cycle. My voice is audible?
सर
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Explain P2P cycle.
P2P just procure to pay,
What are the different stages in P2P?
which is from purchase order to payment of invoice.
What are the 7 steps in P2P?
First of all, we will identify for what the purpose of purchasing the product.
Then
Then we will identify the vendor, selection for quotations,
then
selecting the best quotation, purchasing order,
then purchase order, then approval, then good receipt note, then invoice, then payment. So it is very simple. Okay, if you don't mug it up anything, then it is very easy. Okay, for example, okay, it is very simple. Okay, for example, a grocery is needed in your home. Okay, so who will identify the need of the product? Normally, who will identify if the grocery is needed in the home? Who identifies that? Who will identify if the grocery is needed in the home? Grocery
The person who is managing the kitchen.
Yes, mom most of the time, right? Then who will make the purchase request? Mom. To whom? To husband?
Yes.
To father? Then father what will do? He'll go quotation where he can get the thing in the very least possible price. Then he will select the vendor out of 3. Then purchase order, whoever is the reasonable, he will make the purchase order. Then approval will happen. Then good receipt note, he will given a purchase, good receipt note. Then an invoice will be cut, then payment will be made. Very simple, na? Very simple. Like this, you will remember grocery. You will remember first there was a need of the product. Then he will make the request to the husband. Then husband what will do? He will select the best vendor where he can get it the most reasonable price, and then purchase order will be made. And after purchase order, approval, and then GRN, then invoice, then payment. Okay, simple way. You have to understand yourself. Okay. Okay, संकल्प आपका वॉइस अब हो गया एकदम ठीक. संकल्प इंटरनेट ओके आपका अनम्यूट होके रखिए. हो गया? एक सेकंड. मैं तो अनम्यूट की ही नहीं आपको. एक सेकंड. एक सेकंड. नेट का माय वॉइस इज ऑडिबल ना? एक सेकंड. माय वॉइस इज ऑडिबल? सोनिया गार, कृतिका मित्तल.
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
संकल्प आपको संकल्प आपको सुनाई दे रहा है? संकल्प
Sir, you may have muted him, so he's saying to unmute you.
कैसे करता हूँ? ऐसे तो होता नहीं नॉर्मली. ये आपको ही करना पड़ेगा ना जी. बाकी जन तो बोल पा रहे हैं. होस्ट बना देंगे इनको. लीजिए होस्ट बना देते हैं.